Welcome to Go Find Out, the Career Switch podcast. I'm Jennifer Russell, author, career coach, and speaker, bringing you actionable ideas from knowledgeable guests on how to successfully kick your fears to the curb to go after your career goals. You can find more episodes by visiting GoFindOutPodcast.com. Enjoy the show and go find out. Welcome back to Go Find Out, the Career Switch podcast. I'm your host, Jennifer Russell, and this is episode number 75. Today is part 2 of a career switch series. In the first part of the series, we talked about methods for identifying new careers which might interest you. Today, we'll talk about how to start narrowing down those careers so that you can decide which field you want to pursue next. But first, let's jump into my personal update. Hello again, career switchers. I am 2 days late in getting this to you, as I wanted to have a nice long weekend of not doing much but farming and kind of general house chores. To be honest, it's nice to kind of just disassociate for a bit while weeding the garden or cleaning the house. Otherwise, I find myself consuming too much social media about the overturning of Roe v. Wade and getting caught in the fear of what comes next. I won't dig too much into that, as listening to this podcast might be your way of trying to think of other things. But I do want to say that abortion is healthcare, and it is absolutely an individual's right to choose when or if they start a family. Now, this podcast is all about women going after their goals and switching careers. For many women, a career switch might not have been possible if they didn't have access to abortion and or family planning tools such as contraceptives. And if you're thinking of protesting or showing some other resistance, which is great, just please remember that Black and Indigenous women have been doing that for a lot longer than white women like myself, and that we should listen to their recommendations and advice on how to most effectively make change. I would also encourage you to consider who your employer is and what they support when it comes to political party donations. It's still a job applicants market out there. So if your company actively supports stripping women and LGBTQIA+ of their rights, because you know that is the next thing that's coming, then perhaps it's time to look around for employment with companies who actually care about you as a person. I know that is what I'll be doing when it comes time to start applying for UX jobs. And that's also something that my husband and I keep in mind anytime that we go shopping anywhere, just thinking about how this organization is going to use the money that you are spending there and who are they going to be donating that to. Okay, I don't have too much of an update, honestly, this week other than that. That has kind of consumed my thinking ever since the ruling. So let's get to the meat of the show. All right, in the last episode, we talked about ways to identify new career fields that might be a good fit for you. Today, part 2 is all about the practicality of narrowing down those career fields and starting to dig into them a little bit more. We're going to start from the list of potential careers that you have from the last episode. And if you skipped the last episode, no problem. You hopefully already have 1 or 2 fields that you're interested in switching to already. And if you don't, go back and listen to episode 1 so that you can find those a couple of careers that you're interested in. To determine if any of these careers on your list are a good fit for you right now, the first thing that you'll do is to look for a short, preferably free training or course on that topic. I would literally hop on Google and type in the words free courses on, and then type in one of the career fields from your list. Then scroll through those results and find a free, ideally short course on that topic. Now, the reason that I recommend looking for a shorter course is that you're still in the discovery phase here and are trying to determine which field you really want to dig into. By doing a short course on each of the fields you're interested in, you'll more quickly get a feel for whether that career is something you actually want to drop money on and or throw yourself into pursuing in more depth. Some free or cheap websites to use during this stage are Udemy, Coursera, or LinkedIn Learning. With LinkedIn, if you haven't used it, you can usually get a month free for a premium account, which includes unlimited use of their LinkedIn Learning platform. You can search through LinkedIn's course offerings before you sign up for the free premium account too. If you're having trouble finding free short courses on your career choices, try YouTube. Remember, this is just you getting a feel for whether or not you want to more fully pursue a job in that industry. So, unless you have the time to spend on extended weeks or months-long courses for each of the areas in which you have a career interest, then I recommend looking for courses that are more introductory in nature and last only a few hours. YouTube can be a great place to do that. Now, as an example, when I was trying to determine what field I most wanted to pursue, I allowed myself to spend a few hours doing training on Salesforce administration, while I also took a free 4-hour Coursera course on user experience design. Out of those two career areas, I found myself much more intrigued by user experience design, and I knew that it would be a better fit for me. And that's all the second step is, figuring out what to pursue as a career for now. And just because you decide on a specific path doesn't mean that those other careers are off limits forever. It's okay to pursue those other interests in the future. It's just easier to specialize in one thing at a time. Okay, so you do at least, one course for each area in which you have an interest, and you start to feel intrigued by one career over the others. The next step is to dig deeper into training. Depending on the career that you're going into, you could take longer, more intensive training from Udemy or Coursera, or you could look at longer online college courses from places like edX or openculture.com. Those are great places to start before deciding to drop serious money on this new career. And by the way, I will make sure to drop links in the show notes for all of those learning platforms. And besides those learning platforms, if you know you're super passionate about this new career and you know that you're ready to make the leap, you could sign up for a bootcamp or accredited college course or, a full college program. Of course, this usually means spending money, so really make sure that you know that this career is the right fit before you take this step. And for those of you who still weren't able to choose between 2 or more careers after doing those short trainings, then I recommend reviewing the major differences in what you would need to do in order to land a job in those fields. For example, is it easier to get into one career over another? Does one career just require a certificate and training while maybe the other requires a full-on college degree or a master's degree or higher? Or maybe one career will allow you to make a lot more money than another. And it's not shallow to think about things like the pay of a career, right? It's important to know not just whether you're going to be interested in a career, but also whether that career is going to actually afford you, enough to live on or be comfortable on. That might be a deciding factor for you. Another thing to look at is the availability of jobs in those careers. If you're looking for remote work, are both of those careers or are all of those careers that you're looking at, are they all easily remote? Or is it easier to find remote work for one of them over the other? When you do a job search for jobs in those careers, do a lot of opportunities pop up in your area or maybe for remote employment? These are all factors which could help you make a decision on what career to pursue next. All right, so that is it. Hopefully following these recommendations helps you identify which career you want to pursue next. And remember, deciding on a career path now doesn't mean you can't ever pursue one of those other career paths in the future. That's our show for today. I wish you all the best in going out there and finding out if a career is a good fit for you. As I always say, go find out. Thanks for listening to the show. I hope the information helps you tackle your own career switch goals. You can let me know what you thought of the show by messaging me on Instagram at GoFindOutCareerSwitch or commenting on one of my TikToks at EvergrowthCoach. That's it for today. Now go find out.